CNBC just reported that households increased debt at the fastest pace in 15 years due to hefty increases in credit card usage and mortgage balances. The New York Fed reported that credit card balances have collectively increased by 15% year over year, and it's the largest annual jump in more than 20 years. So the total debt increased by $351 billion between July and September, and it's also the largest nominal quarterly increase since 2007. So right now we're looking at a total of $16.5 trillion in household debts, up 2.2% quarter over quarter and 8.3% year over year. The biggest contributing factor to the increase in household debts was inflation at a 40-year high. But the other contributing factor, I think, is people paying way too much for houses in 2021 and 2022. The total mortgage balance increased by $1 trillion year over year from $11.7 trillion, and credit card debt climbed to $930 billion. The demand for the housing market has decreased, but because some households are paying so much in mortgage payments, they end up using credit cards to help pay for their expenses. And the balances for auto loans increased to $1.52 trillion, while student loans actually decreased to $1.57 trillion. The vehicle repossession rates are also on the rise because people can't afford to make their car payments anymore. And the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau is reporting a 33% increase in delinquent payments year over year. And take a look at the auto rates as of November 2022. If you have poor credit scores, you're looking at a 22% interest rate. If you have excellent credit scores, you're still looking at a 6% interest rate to purchase a new or used vehicle. And I also made a video about why buying a house this year is a bad idea, and I'll put that video link in the description below. Look, I know a lot of you feeling like renting is a waste of money, and I get it because I hated giving my money to the landlord too. But it's really not worth it when your rent was just 20% of your income, but now you're paying over 50% of your income for a mortgage. People make the worst financial decisions when they feel like they're missing out or being fearful. You have to learn to be patient before you make a big purchase, like buying a house. Also, if you feel like you're drowning in debt, living paycheck to paycheck, and you can't figure out how to budget, today is the day to contact me for a free one-on-one 20-minute financial coaching session by visiting firesidechat.com/coaching. If you're brand new to my channel, I talk about my financial independence journey, and I remember how I was once $110,000 in consumer debt. And I remember how much it hurt mentally and emotionally to carry that much debt. And I'm scared for these people who are drowning in debt right now with credit card debt. I've been there. If we see a higher unemployment rate going into 2023, these people with debt would have a harder time making the minimum payments. And I even had the thought of filing for bankruptcy back in 2013. I had 2 car loans, 1 personal loan, 1 TSP loan, or what most people know as the 401k loan, and 5 completely maxed out credit cards. And I didn't know if I was going to have a job because of the federal budget cuts. It was a scary time for me. And this screenshot I'm showing you right now was from January 2014, and I still keep all the spreadsheets from when I paid off my debt because this is a way for me to remember never to get into that situation ever again. My income in 2014 was $58,000 a year, and that was probably just enough to pay off $30,000 in debt in that year. So the first thing I did was get rid of those 2 car loans that I had. Unfortunately, one of them had more debt than its value. So I had to take out an additional $4,500 in personal loan after I sold my vehicles. But when I sold those vehicles, my $42,000 vehicle loan went down to $4,500 in personal loan. And the total debt went down from $109,000 to $71,500. And I felt like I could breathe a little bit after all that, right? The next problem I had was my 5 maxed out credit cards. The total credit card debt was $47,000. And I already did a detailed video on how I paid off my credit card debt, but let me just give you a quick summary of how I did it. I started with the lowest amount because all of my credit card debt has similar interest rates. But one by one, I paid off my credit cards, starting with a Capital One MasterCard, Star Card, another Capital One, Chase, and USAA. And the sense of accomplishment was enormous because the weight I had on my shoulders started to get lighter and lighter, right? The extra side hustles and income I had outside of my 40-hour work week really paid off in the end, because not having any debt really changed my life. And the remaining $20,000 in personal and TSP loans were quickly paid off because my income had already increased from $58,000 to over $100,000 in 2016. So I was really being intense with my debt payoff plan because I was tired of living paycheck to paycheck. I was willing to give up 2 years of having fun just to have everything paid off so I could start living within my budget. Before 2014, I never lived on a budget. I just spent what I thought I had in my account, and I saved a little bit of money for my retirement. So I started creating both short and long-term goals. And I'm a fan of checklists because it's easier for me to go down the list to accomplish one task at a time, right? This is why I've created this FIRE checklist, and you can download it and other financial resources for free by visiting firespreadsheets.com/contact. It really works because I went from being $110,000 in debt to managing $1.1 million in total assets. I am now saving over 65% of my income because I'm staying debt free. This is not a pyramid scheme. You have to be the one to do it. As my income went up over the last 6 years, I kept my expenses low, but I still found ways to have fun by traveling or doing something I love. You have to be very intentional with your money to make sure you're allocating some money towards retirement, some towards spending, some towards travel, and some towards entertainment. I want you to find your way to have fun, but you have to get out of debt first. You have to get out of that paycheck to paycheck cycle. As a financial coach, the first step is always important because you're really trying to figure out what's coming in and what's going out. Calculating your FIRE number will help you figure out your budget for the month and for the year. You have to know how much money you make in gross income and take-home income. Are you paying too much or too little in taxes? Do you have your expenses divided by discretionary and non-discretionary? Do you have a list of your annual expenses like vehicle registration, maintenance, birthdays, anniversary, and Christmas gifts? Once we complete the first step, then we move on to the second step and open a high yield savings account to set aside some money for your emergency fund. This is only up to your deductibles or your rainy day fund. So if something necessary and unexpected happens to you, you won't have to take out more debt to pay for your necessary and unexpected expenses. The third step is when you contribute to your 401k, TSP 403b, or 457, but only up to your employer match. If your employer offers to contribute 4% of your income, if you contribute 8%, then you should only contribute 8% to your 401k, but nothing more and nothing less. You never want to leave free money on the table, right? If your employer doesn't offer any match, then you just simply skip the step. After you complete the first 3 steps, then you'll focus on paying off your debt, which I just talked about earlier in this video. About 70% of Americans are stuck between steps 1 and 4 in the financial dependency cycle. When you're born into this world, you're already in the dependency cycle because you're relying on your parents or caretakers to feed you, bathe you, and pay for your expenses, right? If you're in college and your parents are paying for your expenses, you're still in the dependency cycle because you're depending on someone else to pay for something that you need. You're not truly out of it until you get to steps 5 or 6 of my FIRE checklist when you become financially solvent. You'll start having financial stability when you consistently invest for your retirement and early retirement. And your ultimate goal is to achieve financial independence. Don't worry about the retire early part because you'll know when you're ready to retire. My dream is to see every American get out of the financial dependence cycle. I think we're so consumed with taking out more debt and paying later. And I think many people just lost hope that they'll ever be able to get to save or invest for retirement. I can tell you as a financial coach of 9 years, everyone has a way out. 35% of Americans making $250,000 a year or more are living paycheck to paycheck. I would say that about 90% of the time, it's not an income problem, it's a spending problem. I'm not dismissing the fact that high inflation is pushing a lot of people to spend a lot more. I just want every one of you watching this video to be more intentional with your spending and share this video with someone who is struggling with their finances. And if you want to watch the expanded version of my FIRE checklist and learn how to invest in a Roth IRA, be sure to check out these 2 videos So with that said, I appreciate you watching my video. Don't forget to subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video. Have a good one.